We live? People, deluded. I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning in, people. Good evening, good late afternoon, good morning, whoever you are, wherever you are, people. Please make sure you're hitting the like buttons early doors, and I hope you're all well and safe. Wherever you are, I hope you're all having a good start to the week. Obviously, we're on Tuesday, so I want to hear that everybody is that much closer towards achieving their goals and that much closer towards overcoming any obstacles in their life, whatever it is, and I hope you end the week closer to whatever you was than the week before. So yeah, I hope you're well and safe. As usual, please make sure you're hitting the like button as you enter, people. It does not cost a thing. Big up to all the YouTube members, and as usual, shout out to the Twitch ones. If you want to follow on Twitch, I know a lot of you make a lot of noise about a lack of what's the word to describe it, notifications and all of those sort of things. The Twitch gang are never complaining. So if you're having problems with YouTube, head over to Twitch, Deluded Gooner 187 for such people. Now, I'm actually here to speak about, we're going to speak about Saliba, but it's more so in relation to, we're speaking about a lot of things, yeah. I'm under no illusion. There's an elephant in the room, people. I see you lot in the comments. You've all seen, we all know exactly what's surfaced in relation to William Saliba and a video that's popped up on social medias from 3 years ago. I'm not going to get into it, people, really, but what's the time now? So what, in just under an hour, I made a video quickly displaying my thoughts. It'll be out at 5 p.m. So the good news for you lot is when this stream probably ends, you've got a next one, and that's my opinions there in relation to I'm not going to get into it, people. We all saw it. We all know what the opinions are on it. Listen, I'm just going to keep it football in it. It's a bit dodgy. It's a bit booky. So many questions and stuff that I don't understand. It's a bit of a Mazzolini, really and truly. And Thomas, if you don't know, then please go on Twitter and do your notifications and learn, man. I don't want to really go over it. There's 30 of you here. Good start to the first 2 minutes of this live stream. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. I'm actually looking so unprofessional right now. I've got my hood up and everything like that. So yeah, big up to you lot. I hope you're all doing well and safe. You're right, Master Yoda. There's very, very booky and spooky and funny boy things, but listen, leave it for 5 p.m. My video will come out at 5 p.m. Listen, let's allow it in it. It seems like anything connected with Arsenal is always a bit spooky. You got fans moving mad on live streams. You got players moving mad. It's a Mazzolini every week, innit? But let's leave that for the birds, people. Now, I'm in a bit of a reflective mood. Obviously, we've just really started February and we're coming off the back of January. So over the course of this video, I'm going to go over that, go over some talking points that surfaced, speak about Saliba from purely a footballing point of view and all of those sort of things. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. Before we get into it, people, what are you lot even saying in the comments, man? Bro, please stop displaying ignorance in the comments, people. I think one thing that shouldn't be said in light of Saliba's thing is homophobic remarks and the rest of it. Let's keep it PG. There's a brand and all of those sort of things there that DG's trying to move with. Please hit the like button. It's as simple as that. Big up everybody looking locked in and whatnot, man. Bro, fans moving mad. People moving mad on like Boski. Man, I'm moving mad. Big up Evie, said DT on Gully Creek mode. Allow me, man. I'm just coming. This is my natural habitat. When I'm writing stuff for you, like I'm making videos and all these things, more time, I just got a hoodie up and I'm chilling and I'm there, man. Big up AM. Afternoon to you as well, my guy. I'm there, my guy. I'm there. It's a bit of a slow news day. The snow's moving a bit mad. I went for a walk and went to the shop and things like that. The snow's moving mad. So yeah, that's what I'm saying today. But let's quickly, people, this is surfaced in the last hour. It's not anything newsworthy of such, apart from where Arsenal will be playing their Europa League tie against Benfica, people. As you lot can see here, like the article is saying here. In fact, before we get on with that, Harry's killing me with one of his comments, man. He always says so funny issue in the comments. Shout out to Saliba, documentary filmmaker in the making. Oh man, listen, enough about Saliba, in it. 5 p.m. My thoughts are there. Enough now. Let's just carry on. But big up to you, Harry, man. You always saying some funny stuff. As you lot know, we're meant to be playing Benfica in the Europa League, and we still are. But Arsenal's Europa League last 32 tie away to Benfica has been moved from Lisbon to Rome due to coronavirus protocols. As you lot know, people, I believe Liverpool's Champions League tie has been moved. Manchester City's one has been moved to Budapest, so potentially we'll be moving to Italy to do this, people. I know there was a lot of talk. Where would we be playing? You know, would it be one tie and not? You know, I'd imagine the away goals rule still applies, really and truly. So it's nothing new. Obviously, health is wealth, and we've got to maintain that and things like that. And we know Portugal and all the other countries, everyone's got their own little rules in relation to COVID. So as you lot know, people, Arsenal are due to travel to Lisbon to play Benfica next week in the first leg of their Europa League last 32 tie on February the 18th. The fixture has been moved to Rome due to government restrictions on people returning from Portugal. So obviously, for obvious reasons, that would have knock-on effects for our campaign. Sandwiched in between the Europa League tie is Man City. So obviously, if it was still played in Portugal and we did what we needed to do in that regards, potentially all our players have to quarantine, and it means they're unable to play in the Premier League. And then obviously you've come from Portugal, you've had to quarantine. How does it work getting back into the country? So there's a lot of problems and stuff that could go with it. The easiest thing to do is just move away from the city and play it in a neutral territory. As you lot know, Portugal is on a red list of countries drawn by the UK government, so allegedly we have to go. The home leg will also be an issue the following week, with Benfica barred from entering the country. No decision has yet been taken on a venue for that match. So it seems you'd imagine that, you know, the players and the fans and the clubs, just in terms of, well, not the fans so much, but the club in terms of preparations, you know, you'd imagine you sort this out, because you don't know where you're playing, really and truly. You know, you play both of them legs there. What are we waiting for, really and truly? So we'll have to see what happens. As you lot know, we topped Group B when we had to. So that's it in relation to the Europa League very quickly. What are you guys saying? So yeah, it should be 2 games in Rome, essentially. Man said hoodie DG. Bro, it is what it is. Wayne has said, been gone for a while because of college, but I had to return to hear DG's opinion on the Saliba thing. Listen, 5 p.m. You're only going to hear me speak about Saliba purely from what he's said again and again and again and again and again and again, in terms of not playing. We're going to speak about him from a footballing sense. If you've all seen the video, you all know it's a madness, isn't it? It was 3 years ago. It was 16. Not that can save anything. It just puts it into context, really and truly. I do think William Saliba has been poorly managed because, you know, one, if you hear that he's not ready, you should have found a loan for him early doors. 2, obviously, you know, we've not really prepared in terms of his development, where we're going to house him for a year. You know, he's disallowed from playing in a cup final. It's just been a bit of a mess for me personally. But relating to Saliba from a footballing point of view, people, adding to the stream very quickly, apparently, Saliba's offered a lot of talk, people. Saliba's done a lot of chatting. Saliba's done a lot of talking. And for me, it's not, you're not going to learn anything new from what Saliba is saying. He keeps saying, you know, Arteta, hey, I didn't really get an opportunity. You know, I didn't really have enough time to train and all the other things. My thing is this. It's not a coincidence that he keeps speaking about these things, surely, people. And of course, you know, Arteta, listen, do I think Saliba was fully managed right? Of course not. I do think he's not ready. I do think there's stuff that we did not see, but it's just it's an elephant in the room. You had Ozu on big wages not playing. You had a 30 million teenager that's not playing and can't get a sniff of first team football. You know, the fans needed some confirmation. Personally, like I said, I would have liked him to be used. Equally, I'm not going to cry if he wasn't. I would have liked to have seen him found the club. It seems like we've been very reactive to what we're trying to do with William Saliba. I know he's had personal problems and stuff like that, but he missed a lot of football because of the French league. We cost him out of playing in a cup final. You know, we waited to the last day to try and move him out, and then we made him miss whole heap of football until January. So he's played just a couple of these young players in our first team, and especially someone that we fought off competition to get for 30 odd million, is very reactive. But him himself has said, people, Arteta judged me on 2.5 matches. I would have liked for him to play me more, but he told me I wasn't ready. I was waiting for him to give me a chance, but football is like that. And it is true, you know, you can train, you might not just get that chance no matter how much you want it. I would say as well, you know, Arteta is a new manager. You've barely struck up that that sort of reputation and repertoire with Arteta. You've got to earn his trust. Do you think that I've run the risk of, I think there's too much talking now? Again, we know the French players are very outspoken. We know the way French people, the French sort of, the media like to have their players very outspoken. You know, he's not French, but Pepe was openly saying, I want to leave Leo. The same goes for Gabriel. There's been many examples. I do think Saliba needs to whine in a bit because he's 19. When you consider this, when you consider the whole little sly indirects on Instagram, it's not that you're burning bridges, but it's not the wisest of things when you're doing this and you're consistently talking. Let your football do the talking. You know, you had a very good game against Andre at the weekend, you know, or whenever it was. You hit the crossbar from a header, clean sheet, and them things. Let your football do the talking. If you play well, naturally fans and everybody connected will say, okay, cool. Why isn't he playing? You don't do the talking. If you would like a chance, I don't think you're wrong, but if you would like a chance, go and play. I'm just very wary of you. It seems like he's giving the same interview repeatedly, and this runs the risk of burning bridges and alienating people and things like that. You know, if you were wait, I don't think he's wrong, but at the same time, it is what it is in that regards, people. And you can see it here. He said, Arteta himself said he will come back for a pre-season and he'll be with us, and hopefully he'll come back after playing a number of games, and with his performance raised and his development progressing in the right way, that is why we made that decision. Now, I still think Arsenal are going to bring in a defender in the summer, people, but you'd imagine, you know, if your name isn't Pablo Marie, Gabriel, to a degree Saliba, if he goes on loan or stays, these sort of guys are going to be the centre halves. You know, definitely Gabriel, Saliba, Marie. You'd say they're the three minimum. Holding, because he's played his way in because of form. The club probably looking for another centre half. So we're looking at you, like he said, to come back and do things. And for me, I would feel aggrieved if I was Saliba as well. You've signed me for big money. You've made a whole big song and dance about signing me. I've went back on loan. I've been hungry. I think Saliba isn't wrong in these aggrieved, but at some level, just do the talking with your feet, and the rest will take care of itself. You play well for Nice. You try help them with what they're doing. We will do it as fans and say, why ain't he here? Why isn't he? Why can't we use him? Why couldn't he play in the Europa League? Why did you want to keep Mustafi when he was there? We will do that, you know, in a healthy way. You know, you can disagree with Arteta's opinion. I sure as hell do, but use that to fire you up so that it says, all right, cool. Say nothing. When I'm in the team, you're going to see what I'm on. Saliba, even when he comes back, is not going to be the finished article. What we need is someone more confident, someone that's got more minutes in the legs, and ultimately just slightly more developed people. Obviously, as well, while we're talking about Saliba, not to go over the leaked video, but it is a bit ironic how that's been leaked, coincidentally off the back of this. I don't think the two are interlapped. I think it's a mistake. But I would say to Saliba, you need to watch the friends around you. You know, that video was 3 years ago. Who surfed it? Not too many people must have had access to that. It looked like it snapped. So who did you send that to? You know, these interviews that you're giving, I don't think they're wrong, but the frequency of them suggests to me that you're just a young, misunderstood teenager that just ultimately wants to play for Arsenal Football Club. But there's a way of doing it, and your advisors around you, you know, I wouldn't say this is the wisest thing. There's a time to talk. I don't think it's right now, you know, and I do think these media outlets are using him, really. You know, these Get French Football and RMC, they're just using you for a headline. You know, it sells. You know, especially because that's his homeland. You know, he left his homeland. He's not playing, blah, blah, blah. Be sensible a bit, Saliba. Let your feet do the talking. It is what it is, people. And again, he spoke about him going on loan and things like that. I don't understand how he couldn't have played in the Europa League. But as you say, you spent 27 million on him. Remind him. Because again, you know, big up Don Draper as well. He does a good job of looking after the Arsenal business. And obviously, I believe he's of French nationality. So he can really quantify what's been said, and he kind of paraphrased a lot of things, people. Saliba, which a lot of us were wondering as well, which again, when he went back on loan to St. Etienne, I understood it to get game time, but I thought, could it be worth acclimatizing to what he's currently got? In which you can see Saliba said that he regrets staying at St. Etienne on loan and not joining Arsenal straight after signing for the London club, in which when you sign for a club, it's clear that it's better to join the club you have signed for straight away. I think yes, I think no. I think the quicker he could have been, maybe that could have acclimatized him quicker. Maybe you stay in people's thoughts, but I understood it. You know, you've got that move. You've got the healthy space of knowing that you're going to move. Go and continue to be a leader amongst men at St. Etienne. He also said, in a year, many things can happen. It was Emre who decided to make my transfer to Arsenal a reality. When I signed to Arsenal 1 year later, Arteta was the manager. Many things can change in 1 year. And that's facts, you know, things can change. Managers can have too many different opinions of you. You know, clearly Arteta and Emre do. You might not have got game time under Emre. You might have. It's just a funny thing. It's just one of those things, people. I personally would imagine, I'd like to hope Saliba was a club signing, and it's just the manager signed off on it, because we want players of tomorrow. We want players that can give us resale value. We want to tap into the French market right now as well, especially with the gold mine that's going on there. So you'd think that's him. He also said, I was very young. I didn't even play 20 league games with St. Etienne. I had to stay for another season to confirm, and I had 2 injuries in the same season which didn't help. So obviously, between COVID, injuries, and all this other stuff, it has kind of set blocks in Saliba's development. But these things happen. It's part of being a professional footballer. You know, you're going to get setbacks. Things aren't going to happen. Do I think Saliba's fully right? Do I think the club have handled Saliba in the best way? Of course not. If Arsene Wenger was here, I think things might be different for Saliba. But as you can see here, when I arrived at Arsenal, they were finishing the championship. I wasn't training with them. I was training on my own since it was 5 or 6 months since I had trained, because we were in lockdown. And we did hear he was training alone. He was, you know, the club were collaborating with him to see what they could do. We did hear he was going into pre-season early doors. He also said, there was also the story of the final with St. Etienne. I couldn't play it because there was no agreement between the two clubs. I was training by myself. They went on vacation. I stayed to train by myself. When they came back, I had 1 week with the group. So again, Saliba just strikes me as a young, naive kid, really and truly, because this shows you he wants to make it. If you're training by yourself, if you're getting in there early days, it can be done, but you've just got to rein it in a bit, people. So again, he's not saying things we don't know. We know he done this. He said we played 2 or 3 friendlies, but since I didn't have the rhythm and I was still trying to get back to my best level, the coach judged me on 2.5 matches. And that's, if he was judged on 2.5 matches, that's not wrong. If Arteta thinks you're not levels right now, go out on loan and prove your levels. But at the same time, you don't get over there overnight. For me, if we've spent 30 million, or the best part of 30 million on a player, which for us, 30 million might as well be 100 mil, because we hear there's financial issues, especially someone that's seen as having a future at Arsenal Football Club and French national team, you've got to look after his development a bit. You don't arrive there overnight. Surely we had a loan manager, or we had a dedicated scout that was watching his games, you know, at St. Etienne. Okay, throughout the 38 game calendar, he was good this game, he's bad this game, he's good that game, he's bad that game. And then he gets a mark out of 10, for example, at the end of the season. And that gets put back to Arteta and saying, yo, listen, I don't think Saliba's ready right now. He needs another loan. He needs this. He needs that. Then when Arteta gets a chance to see what he's on in pre-season or training and say, all right, cool. You know what? I hear what the article is saying, but I'm going to keep Saliba. Or, you know what? You're right. Let's go and find a loan spell for him. I would have liked to have seen more of a proactive approach to Saliba's development, whether he's going to stay at this club or go elsewhere, because it don't look good. You know, even not playing in a cup final. Yeah, we haven't got... you know, we've got every right to not allow him to play in that, because we deserve a loan fee and things like that. But maybe it could have been a bit worse. It could have helped, you know, a touch of good faith to Saliba, just letting him play in that, you know, finding a loan club for him early doors in the summer so that he can acclimatize and things. Because we've obviously known, we've just spoken about how much football he missed last season. So only in Arsenal fashion, we make a man miss more. It don't make sense. And we all remember he played against NK Dons. I don't think he played in another pre-season game for us. He could have been on the bench in the Community Shield. I can't be wrong. Like he said here, I would have preferred Arteta to play me again so that I could retrieve my level. He judged me otherwise and told me that I had no rhythm. Then I waited for him to give me my chance. But hey, football's like that. And I don't understand the playing 23s thing personally, but it is what it is in relation to Saliba, people. You know, he's just going to have to roll his socks up. And he played well in their last game, people. He played very well in their last game. So he just needs to keep doing that. And again, from you do that, football will take care of itself. You know, you play well. Like I said, the fans will do the rest and say, why isn't he involved? And the rest of it. So that's it in relation to Saliba. But again, like I said, I think he's got to be very, very wary of doing these articles so frequently, because it does come across like you're trying to get a message across indirectly or directly. So we'll only know what happens in that regards. But we're wishing Saliba all the best. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if it carries on like this. You know, you do get the unhealthy feeling that he could even we could even just sell him, even though I don't want that to happen, because it feels like there's problems with the manager and he ain't even been a player of us like that yet. He ain't been really with us. So hopefully it changes in that regards, but it is what it is. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. As usual, please make sure you're hitting the like button. What are you lot saying? Because I see you lot going crazy. Get Saliba and Guendouzi attitude coach or social media training. To be fair with you, I don't even think they have attitude issues. I just think Saliba needs to learn to stop chatting right now. Pardon me. And Guendouzi should just, you just got to have humble pie, really, and know when you can't win your battles, really and truly. I think he played the Aston Villa scrimmage behind closed doors. Then we heard reports of Holding not going on loan after that. I don't think it's a case of having a shocker. He's just not, there's a, I think it, he can learn on his feet, but I don't think he's ready. Like I think if I was Arteta, which I'm not, he's involved for me. You know, he'd be my third full choice centre half. Would have played Europa League. Would have played FA Cup, Carling Cup. Try to see what I can do in the Premier League. I get it. Equally, I understand if he's not ready for that, you know, because again, positioning is a big part of it, and I don't think he's proactive enough. And especially when you're playing the Premier League with these sort of strikers, you have to be. So there's never one, you know, it could have made sense to stay here. It could have made more sense to leave. It could have made more sense to leave than stay here. It's all about the development. You know, it just seems a bit reactive. Like for me, if we've conceded that, like again, he needs to go out on loan to develop, do that early doors. It seems like we're trying to do a bit of both, really and truly. You know, I don't understand how he was written off as well. I do think people are playing favourites. When you look at the whole Mustafi business, he potentially could have left. But hopefully next season, he gets more of a game time, man. You know, and it's like AM saying, he didn't really say anything bad, but really and truly should just be putting his head down and play. That's it. Put your head down, stop chatting. And once again, fans will do the rest, man. It's as simple as that, man. Really as simple as that. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. 115 of you locked in. Billy is saying Arteta is not the manager for this squad culture clash. Arteta is using Pep Guardiola's managing style. Not sure I agree, but fair play. Yeah, he's doing too much chatting. He ain't helping his own case. I feel like Arsenal are done with him. All our club departments are dysfunctional. It's either the people who don't care or don't have enough experience. Does anyone really come in and think they can change their career past their bank account? Interesting one, people. Very interesting. Now, quickly, people, if I share the good old Google document sheet with you guys, people, I thought with it we've kind of done this before, but with it being the start of February and, you know, coming off the back of a decent January, I felt it's time to really I rarely just give you my thoughts as an Arsenal fan. Now, when we consider January / the start of February as an Arsenal fan, I'm a bit of I don't know where to feel, because on the hand of it, people, this is just January. Forgive me if I'm wrong. You know, we won more games than I expected. You know, we beat West Brom 4-0. We beat Newcastle. Who did we beat? Who could we beat 3-1? That's not meant to be there, people. Who did we beat 3-0? We beat Southampton. I don't know who else we played there. We drew against Crystal Palace, but there's more wins than I thought in that regards, people. See the danger in speed writing. Obviously, not happy we drew there, but it is what it is. Obviously, we dropped points against United, or a point gain, depending on where you look at it. And it's always disappointing for me to go out of the FA Cup. So for me, based on the January, I still think we're in a good period. I just feel it's been a bit of a false image, and it's allowed for fans and maybe the players to have a false sense of security. Because when we look at it, my biggest problem that I still haven't learned, even with this form, people, where is low blocks. You know, we're still having problems against low blocks. Couldn't break down Aston Villa because they're a well-drilled side. You know, couldn't really break down Wolves because we was down to 11 men. Was down to 11 men. Couldn't break down Crystal Palace from the jump, and we drew. You know, we only took apart Newcastle, for me, in the second half when they started to have a go at us. So for me, fundamentally, and to be fair with you, you should be able to score. I'm not discounting it, but you should be able to put in 4 against West Bromwich Albion. You know, Chelsea, fair play. You know, Southampton, fair play. The month before we weren't scoring. We've scored a lot of goals. We've won more games than I expected. Disappointed about the Crystal Palace game. United, we live to fight another day. Took 4 points off them this year. Southampton, to go out in the FA Cup, considering it's a ticket to Europe, could come back to hurt us. I feel so. You know, it was good. You know, players were coming in form. Smith Rowe stood up to be counted. The Hayland boys were all doing their thing. The young players, you know, Holding, Xhaka, even Bellerin, Cedric, all these players that I might not necessarily rate, I think are hot and cold. They're all coming into some sort of form. So he's doing all right. The problem is, like you're seeing with this topsy-turvy season, you can't rest on your laurels. You know, I'm not being sinister, but you could say our positive winning run was a blip, you know, because we've been losing games. We had to get in positives, and now we're kind of back to normal dropping points. Was that a positive blip? And I feel when you definitely look at, I could be missing out the Brighton game. When you look at, definitely, I'd say Brighton, West Bromwich Albion, and Newcastle, at the times of playing them, we played them at the right time. You can only play what's in front of you, but does it really say that we've turned a corner? Has our game management really improved? You know, have we really mark to turn? I don't believe so, people, because I still see the same problems. All that that's been confirmed to me is these players. I know occasionally you can display togetherness. I know you can show fight, you can show desire, you can play football. The problem is, you need to be able to do it every game that comes in the Premier League. And for me, definitely more so off the back of our last couple games, you have to play well for 90 minutes. There's no point talking about how we started the game well and then this happened and we lost. That doesn't happen. It seems like we, as fans and as a manager and everyone connected to this club, we do have balance, but at times we look to find positives where there's none. Like, don't get it twisted. The first half against Wolves is up there, but how can that be the best 45 minutes of our season if a couple of seconds before half time we're engineering our own mistakes and cheap mistakes as well? It doesn't really make sense. We've improved defensively, but how much can we improve in terms of game management and real defending with some of these personnel? With all due respect, the red card wasn't a red card, but fundamentally David Luiz against Wolves was out of position. It was Cedric this week against Aston Villa. It's David Luiz one week. It's been Xhaka the week. Xhaka's been quite good, so I'm just using him as an example. But it's Xhaka. When you've got so many of these players that will give you a bit of form, but truthfully don't know their level and they're quite mistake ridden, you can't really develop much. So I do think we've hit that glass ceiling under Arteta where this is probably as good as we can defend. We did have a couple of clean sheets, but we've still got individual errors collectively or people that play them. Ultimately, this month was quality, but it's been spoiled by the start to February because, again, there isn't too much. You've seen a lot of conclusions. Spurs and Chelsea were winning leagues. Then, it's top four. Liverpool were winning leagues. Now Liverpool are a point behind Chelsea. Arsenal have been getting relegated and we're back. So you see the problem with not picking up points, especially when it's topsy-turvy, because suddenly a draw against United, not belittling it, but a draw against United, dropping points to Crystal Palace, losing to Wolves, regardless of what happened in that game, and poor against Aston Villa, these things add up. And off the back of and like I said, people, we've showed some promising signs, but it feels like we're going around in circles, really and truly. Like we show just a bit of signs of game management, of improving, of scoring goals, of togetherness, of grit. We show just enough for people to start believing, and then we show enough again to have some concerns. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. And for me, the main thing is game management and mentality, because even when we're losing these games, it was a cheap goal in the FA Cup to give to Southampton. Cheap goal to concede at the weekend against Aston Villa. 2 cheap goals really against Wolves, 10 men or not. Teams are not really breaking us down or cutting us up. We're just handing them points, and you can't afford to do this too many times over a 38-game period. We've got 10 defeats, so we're wishing on a star, people. And, for me, the Wolves and the Villa game, they're the games I look at to see your mentality, because both teams embarrassed you at home. I wanted to see a reaction. I did to a degree until things happened against Wolves. I didn't see it against Aston Villa. So you never quite know exactly what Arsenal team is going to turn up. And that's fundamentally very concerning, people. There's no getting away with that. So we'll have to see. And February's been a month from hell. We all knew February was a tough month, and we've been through this situation before where we were staring down the barrel of tough games and we didn't really rise to it. The games aren't getting easier. What's happened. We know we've got 2 legs against Benfica. We've got Manchester City. I'm sure we've got Leicester, and March is even kinder to us, people. So we can't afford to feel sorry for ourselves. Our season is on the line if it wasn't already. Right now, there's not really much is being said because it still looks mathematically that we can get Europe in some capacity. But suddenly going out of the FA Cup, not qualifying for the Euro, not going through in the Europa League, looking out of European spots in terms of the league places, these things are costly. And Europa League saved our bacon to a degree last season. What's going to happen if you don't make it? Like I said, the start to February's been woeful, really and truly, because we've cheated ourselves across both games. And like I said, suddenly the good form means little if we're dropping points when we're now in tough times, really. And like I already mentioned, for me personally, the mentality in the last 2 games we've gone to the Midlands has been poor. Playing well for 90 minutes and not stages. Second half, we were on top of Aston Villa. We were in the game against Wolves, but fundamentally, both teams walked away with victory. And we're here talking about possession and chances. The clinicalness has left us at this moment in time, in my opinion. Players of the month, it's more or less the same. I think Smith Rowe's done well, as has Saka. Holding needs to learn how to man mark. Last 2 games, you need to man mark. Like Cedric, for me, Cedric and David Luiz are the players to blame for those mistakes. But I think Holding needs to improve his reading of the game. He hasn't read them. 2 games, he's let men go running. If he wants to go to the next level, it is what it is. I think other than last game, Cedric's been doing all right this season. But again, I think we'll get onto it, but too many people are wassing it and getting too excited. Please make sure you hit the like button, people. Players I want to see more improvement on. David Luiz, I think January you was on fire. You're kind of moving mad. Southampton in the league when we won, you was iffy. You was good against United, but then you spoiled it against Wolves. The red card you're hard done by, but fundamentally that goal happens because he is out of position. It's as simple as that. Willian, if you've been watching football, you want to really just see an improvement from Willian. And just for me personally, he ain't really been playing due to family problems. But every time I look at the Premier League top goal scorers and I don't see Aubameyang near that, there's issues. I did say I would have my unpopular opinions, people, what I feel is unpopular. But again, feelings on Arteta. I still don't think we're able to break down low blocks against well-drilled sides. I do think I have seen some elements of improved game management and having some sort of creativity in the final third. I do wonder how far Arteta can take it now with these players, but sometimes the game management is a bit unclear. The substitutions have been a bit unclear. It seems like certain players are judged on other things than others. Like, it's lovely to see Pepe's there now, but why is it taking so long if it's not anything due to just solely Pepe? I don't know. The William, we're pulling him along. You got Reece Nelson stuck in the under-23, should have went out on loan, batted up Chelsea's under-23s. You've got William who is offering nothing, so I don't really understand these things. Again, if it was just politics, then fair play. But I saw you do nothing but, reiterate that you want Mustafi to stay, and he's left. So what could have been done with other players? Marie could have got a chance even earlier without the injury. Saliba might have got minutes. Where would Pepe be now if he was given a better opportunity? I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate. So I'd give Arteta a 5 out of 10. Like I said, I don't think he's not the man. I don't think he's convincingly the man. Like, I'm on the fence with him. You show me some good, you show me some bad. Until it shifts really, then it is what it is. Sacking him might be the wrong thing to do. It might be the right thing to do. It's that simple. I don't know what the answer is, and I haven't really seen anything to say, yes, I'm fully Arteta, I condone everything you do, or come out the club. I see a bit of concerns, and I think next season is the season Arteta is fully judged on things, people. Because we've got rid of players in January and the rest of it, and he can have the COVID excuse, as well as it's been his first full season. So we'll have to see what firmly happens in that regards, people. Which takes me back to my unpopular opinions. I don't even know if they're proven unpopular, but I'd start with the first one, people, that might put people by surprise. Leno is good, and I'm not gonna lie, Leno has really upped his ratings in my personal book. I have concerns over his distribution, concerns over his handling. I think he's really done well. Concerns over his calm nature and communication. He's either too itchy fingers to come off his line, or he's too late. And I think, Leno's been a very good player. Leno's finally got some clean sheets that he deserves. I just think, and there has been times he's made silly mistakes this season, like the red card. I just feel Leno is capped. I do think Leno deserves a better defense. I do think Leno is good enough to be a top 4 keeper, but I do think potentially, if every area of this football club was addressed, from the starting 11 to the depth to the creative midfield, every possible thing any Arsenal fan could say we need to turn into a Premier League team, if we had the depth that, if we had some of the City stuff or historically other teams, if that everything was there, I genuinely think we'd be looking at a better keeper. I do think Leno is a good shot stopper. He does save you. There's definitely a million problems, but I do think he's capped. I do think there's issues with Leno. I'm open to being proved wrong, but I do think Leno, I have my concerns over Leno. I do think we'll get to a level where we're reviewing that. I do think people need to calm down with the hype around Cedric. I've seen people bang on for Lacazette, Cedric, and El Nene new deals. It's not that I don't like these players. It's just, too often than not, we start calling these players bad players after 3 bad games, and then the best players ever after 3 games. For me, it's genuine consistency. We've got too many of these players that are not certified over 38 games, and I'm not getting at Cedric. It's down to him to continue it. I still think he's had a good season since he's got a look in the team. Mistakes happen. You was actually poor against Southampton in the FA Cup. For me, he was very poor in our last game, but generally he's put in the shift. But this is what you're going to get, people, really and truly. Do we really, has Cedric been, at this moment in time, again, if he proves it, but at this moment in time, the 9th of February, has Cedric done enough for man to sit here and say, we don't need a thingy, we don't need a right back, we this and that? Because all I want to do is, come May, right back is dealt with. I don't want to be talking Maitland-Niles 1 week, Bellerin the next, Cedric. I want a right back. Simply put, it's like we are with Tierney when fit. Simply put, a right back over 38 games. And I think we just need to calm it down with it, man. We just need to calm it down with the Cedric hype, man. Like proclaiming that we don't need this and we don't need to do that. This ain't really an unpopular one, I don't think. But I wouldn't write off Pepe personally. And what I mean by that is I don't think clearly, I don't think Pepe is going to be the player we all thought. He's not going to be the 72 million man. He's not going to be Mo Salah or whatever in it. But that doesn't mean he can't be a good player for us. And I think he can be. Like I said here, he won't be the stature of player we expected, but I do think there's some use in that lad. And I do think we could get a lot more. And I do think minimum, we could kind of get him up to a playing standard now. Because shouldn't be showing some of these things in your second season. But at the same time, we need to see a lot more. So they're my unpopular opinions, really and truly. Am I trying to think of some more? Personally, I don't think you can be fully Arteta in or out. Hindsight might show some of you as the Messiah saying, I knew he was the man, he's done this thing, he's done that now. Hindsight might say, I knew he should have left. That I can't, if you're all in, I can't begrudge you. But I see stuff for make me believe you can do something here. Stuff that makes me believe, you're kind of out your depth. So they would be my unpopular opinions, people. For really and truly, they'd be my unpopular opinions. Sorry, people. Timestamp. So yeah, man, I think that's it in that regards. What else? So yeah, I can delete that tab. We've spoken about Saliba. We've done that. We've even spoken about the Europa League. What are you lot saying, people? Big up everyone in the comments. Please make sure you're hitting that like button, people. It doesn't cost a thing. There's 156 of you in here. Can we get 156 likes? Leno is sus. I think suspect is harsh generally. I just think he does suspect things. Like he's an elite shot stopper, but sometimes these shots are being saved and palmed into other things. I don't think Leno is criminally underrated, and I don't think he's the second best goalkeeper in this league. Alisson and Edison are easily better than him, so that shuts that one up personally. But I like Leno. I do think people sleep on him, but I don't think he's that mess. AM has said, do you think Arsenal are underachieving? I don't think we are. The squad isn't that good compared to other teams. Interesting one. And I think, that we can make that another timestamp. Big up the members, them. Are Arsenal underachieving? I would say yes and no. And I know I would like to do this stuff, but I would say yes and no. I would say no, because like you said, I agree with you. Some of these players, it's a combination of just not being good enough, never being good enough, and just suspecting it on the nicest of ones. And we know the individual errors that consistently happen. Like I said, it's David Luiz 1 week, it's Cedric the next week, it's Xhaka this week, and that's not me being unfair to any of them names said. It's just a fact. It is another week, another player, Throughout the whole season, the bulk of our starting 11 will probably all make a mistake, really and truly. There's nothing wrong with that, but some make it more than others. So I do agree with you at some times, people. We're not underachieving. You get what you pay for. We're just crap. At the same hand, regardless of where other teams are, regardless of this player, regardless of it being probably the worst collective playing squad we have, I think we are underachieving. We shouldn't have 10 defeats. We shouldn't be 10th. We shouldn't be talking about can we put a ball into the back of the net and a lack of creativity. There's definitely, and I think these tools that we have at our disposal are limited, but we definitely should be getting more out of our tools. And to be fair with you, it's a lot of it, in my opinion, is mental. Because regardless of how bad these Arsenal footballers are, the bulk of them, are they really individually, collectively they are, but are they really bad? Is there Premier League teams, a lot of them can't play other Premier League teams, but are they really off some of these teams performing better than us? It's the mentality. And I think it's down to Arteta to get that through to them. But at the same time, you can bring a man to some water, you can't make them drink. And I think the boys, Arteta can't account for some of these things, for all the criticism. So I do agree with you fundamentally, really and truly, that we don't have a good enough squad. But at the same time, I do think we can make more of a meal of it. We should be showing more consistency in performance. Again, I don't like to do the ifs and buts, but if we don't finish in the top 4 this season, and I'm not talking individuals, is it because other teams have been massively better than us? Probably statistically, but I would say no. No team is really making a meal of showing consistent runs apart from Man City. And this tells me my players are not mentally strong enough to say, okay, cool, it's 12:30 against Aston Villa. You've got this team against that team on Sunday. You've got this team playing. We take our points. We know that we lost this game against Wolves or Villa last time out. Let's go and put it right. We know if we lose, there's going to be problems. And I think mentally we're not in the right of space. The ones that are, it's the ones that either just signed for this club or the young ones. Realistically, when you think about people that get it at this football club, we're looking at us. We're looking at Tierney. Fair enough, he's been at Celtic and he's got elite mentality, but we shouldn't be thinking of Tierney, Saka, Smith Rowe, Gabriel, man that haven't been at this club 2 minutes. And that's everything that's wrong, really and truly. In my opinion, Marcus said, can't we just support who has ever in? We are Arsenal for life. I don't know who said you can't support them. Arteta has my full support. There's a difference between supporting and just condoning everything. If Arteta makes a decision I don't agree with, I'm gonna mention it. But I don't think I should sit here and just sing his praises. I don't think I should just sit here and bash him. I support Arsenal Football Club. That doesn't mean I support everything the man in charge of that club is going to be. Like you said, we're here for life. Managers and players are going to come or go. I'm all about being wrong. I've had concerns over many managers and players, and I've been proven wrong. I think that's the problem with football. Too many people want their egos served. You're fully allowed to say, I don't think Arteta is good enough. In the future, you say, all right, cool, I was wrong. Or I think Arteta is the man. Right now, he's not. Time changes. It's too, like football, and especially with YouTubers, too many people just want to be right and self-serving. People want Arteta to fail because of Arteta, because they said what they said. It is what it is. And it's like Dapo said here, bro, there's a difference between support and blind faith. I'm never just going to blindly condone things, because I've been taught through life to question things. If I agree with something, I agree with something. If I'm agreeing with it, I need to ask myself why. I'm just not condoning it. And again, I just care about my football club. So that's me anyways. But like Dapo said it right there, we should support, we shouldn't bash him. When I see some of the things Arteta is referred to, it's not right, really and truly. Bro, what I see on the pitch is a result of not unveiling off it. What I'm seeing off it is because of a lack of progress on it. They're both parallel. We haven't replaced several players. We're still out here talking about Patrick Vieira replacement. Fair enough, he's a quality player, but you get the point. And it's a lack of competency and ultimately being reactive across all aspects. Any other club finds a loan spell for Saliba real quick, for example. What is Raymond saying? We've been gassed since the Newcastle game, but even 2 of our goals were in transition against low blocks. We either score from individual brilliance or the cupboard is bare. And that's the thing, we're relying too much on individual brilliance. We need to be a unit. Over a 38-game period, there's going to be times your whole team ain't at it. You're just having a bad day. We can't, like you've seen, Saka didn't even have the best of games last against Villa. But look at where our players, when he's at left back, fair enough, we're trying to get something out the game, and there's Pepe on that side. We're attacking more so down the left. On the first half, we're all down the right. Of course, you're going to give the ball to your key players, but at the same time, we're looking towards too many. And I would, even playing devil's advocate, I would say some of these experienced players are hiding behind the likes of Saka and Martinelli previously and the rest of it. Everybody needs to stand up to be counted. What have you said? What type of manager is Arteta? What are his strengths and weaknesses in your opinion? In terms of type of manager, I don't really know yet. I think he's someone that can study his opponents. I still think he's someone that is trying to find his feet in relation to what his actual system is. I think he's kind of got rid of you need stubbornness as a manager, but I think he's kind of reined in a bit of his stubbornness, people, because he seemed very defiant on, we've just got across the ball, we've got across the ball. You've kind of seen that kind of filtered out. I wouldn't go as far as to say he's an attacking manager. I'd say defense first, being rigid, staying in place and stuff. I do like him, when I'm seeing the little things telling people where to press, I do think he is quite meticulous. I think his strengths are that he is quite stubborn. I think his strengths are that he does give belief to certain players. I think a weakness is he does play favourites. Like, you can see it playing favourites. Some players are judged to harsher standards. Some players are judged to have more chances than another. I do think his in-game management could be a problem. I do think he's very reactive. I do think anytime he's played against Dean Smith, Brendan Rodgers, and Nuno at the Emirates, I think they all displayed that. The last two games, it's not that the subs have been bewildering. It's just I've kind of questioned why. When I see William come on, I have to ask myself, are you doing that just to get William's confidence up? Or right now in this moment, are you doing what's best for the team? So I'd say, his playing favorites is the weakness which concerns me, and his blind loyalty to poor players as well at times, man. And this is it. The reality is a couple wins and most of our fans will go silent. That's why the change won't come, and that's it. You're seen as negative if even now you're calling for the board to go. You're saying no new contracts for this and that and the rest of it. It's facts. Only when we're losing that people want to speak about the Cronkies and what's going wrong in the club and this and that and the rest of it, man. So it is what it is in that regards, man. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. Big up to everybody locked in. Pepe on the right is useless. Not necessarily true. In recent weeks, he's played well on the right and left. He's a big man. Him, Martinelli, and Saka, they should be able to all play on the left and the right. Martinelli should be able to play left, right, and up front. That's what intelligent footballers are able to do. Best footballers in the world can obviously excel in one role more than others, but they can. Everyone's entitled to their view, man. As long as you're not, for me anyways, I like balance in it. So if you're positive, as long as you can comprehend reasons to potentially be negative, areas of concern, and tell me the context, all it is. If you're positive, as long as you can apply balance, all play. Where I have a problem is where I speak to people that are extremely positive with no other reason, and people that are extremely negative, more so negative. I'd rather be around positivity. Who wouldn't? Without anything, people. And that's the problem with me with Arteta. He's got to learn from his mistakes and learn very quickly. If you're the least you can do if you're inexperienced is, once you burn your hand, don't put your hand in there again. But a couple of times he's put his hand in there again and again and again. So we'll have to see what happens in that regards. Get your questions in, people, and please make sure you're hitting the like button as usual. 113 likes. Can we keep that going, people? Can we keep that going? Moving away from that, what else is there for you guys, people? What other things have I got to go over? So yeah, we've done that. I think I've actually spoken about this, people. But in relation to Pepe, as you lot can see here, obviously prior to the Villa game, he had quite a little bit of form picking up. He said, well, if you ask me personally, what I think of the performance that he put in overall in all phases of the game, I think it's his best he has played. Obviously in the game against Wolves and whatnot. His contribution to those aspects is the best that he has done, and he needs to sustain that. When you have momentum in football, when you have to earn the right to play, then you cannot lose it. So he's got the reaction he wanted from Pepe, and we want to see that keep going at Pepe. Football London has a report. I ain't read this yet, people, so let's see what it says. It says new Arteta contract, Calvert-Lewin transfer, Mavropanos development. I don't think Arteta should be given a new contract yet. There's nothing to suggest right now you should be given that deal. As much as I might have question marks or might like you, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, it ain't gonna happen, is it? You're talking about 50 to 100 million now, probably 100 million because of his English premium, whether he's levels or not. And I'm interested to see what this is saying about Mavropanos. Mavropanos had a great game against Mainz a couple of weeks ago. Kind of struggled against Leverkusen because Damari Gray scored. Loan report soon land, people, probably tomorrow. So let's see what's being said here, people. Is there any chance of signing Odegaard permanently or Calvert-Lewin on loan? I mean, joining permanently as well. Pardon me. A decision will be made whether to pursue a permanent deal for Odegaard once his loan spell ends. It's dependent on his performances over the next few months, but he has a good chance and looked bright when he came on against Aston Villa. Fair play. Nothing new here. And obviously, in relation to Calvert-Lewin, we all know he'd command a huge fee. So that one isn't going to happen, people. In relation to Kieran Tierney being out, people, Kieran Tierney has a leg injury. Apparently, the Athletic as well have said it's not related to his recurring injury. It seems to be fatigue. As you lot know, he's played a lot of games. So that's probably why we need a backup left back or more depth in that area. And maybe with loaning certain players out, not bringing certain players in, time will tell if it was the wisest decision around depth around fullback, people. Is there a chance of Mark Overmars coming back to Arsenal? Unlikely at this stage. As you lot know, Edu is the technical director. You've got Richard Garlick coming in as head of operations, and Vinay is chief executive. So, like Arsene Wenger would say, you'd probably have to create an artificial position for him. And if anything, I would like to see get rid of Vinay, because you've got an experienced man here. Edu's clearly part of the framework. Vinay is as well, but Vinay for Overmars, I would like to see that swap personally. You know, when speaking about potential Mikel Arteta new contracts, he said, I haven't heard that, and I'd be surprised if it was the case at this point in the season. Apparently, KSE have full faith in Arteta, and there's no plans to change what's going on at the moment in time. Apparently, Thomas Partey is going to be fit, people, for the next game. I would like to see us finally sort out his injury issues, people, because it's a bit bewildering. He's never injured at Atletico. He comes to Arsenal and he's only played 90 minutes literally a handful of times, and he goes down again. Apparently he'll be back, but it's crazy. He's been kept out of 10 games. He's only played 90 minutes literally 2, maybe 3 times, and that might be nice. Apparently, Football London have said he felt some pain in his thigh before signalling that he needed to be substituted. The injury is not considered serious, and the midfielder will spend the next few days recovering ahead of the game against Leeds on Sunday, people. So make of that what you will. I should have spoken about this, and I saw this article in the build-up to the game at the weekend, but Xhaka said, attacks on my family and friends are beyond the pale. Let's see what's being said here. I'm just scrolling to try and see exactly what the player has said, people. Where is it? I don't like. It's just thank you, man. I hate when journalists do this, man. Just a bag of waffle from other people. But as you can see, Granit Xhaka said, I want to take positives from a negative situation after Burnley to use it to take steps forward. I always try to find positives in everything I do in football. I said to myself, I can't alter what's happened, but it's my mistake and I can learn from it. It was important to let people know that the team could still rely on me, that I was going to come back from this a stronger and a better person. That's what's happened. Physically and mentally, I'm in a good place. We all know Xhaka has come from hardship, and obviously his family did very well to leave a war-torn nation and build a new life for him and his family in Switzerland and things. While I have admiration for that, it's not of any relevance. I'm still trying to find the relevant parts to Arsenal. As we know, social media abuse isn't nice. And he said there have to be boundaries to criticism. For example, there should be no references to any player's family, personal attacks, and clearly no mention of any player's children. Criticize the player in his game by all means, but keep it within that area. Don't go too far. And I think most logical fans know that, innit? Like, we don't condone the nonsense you see happening, and the Twitter bad boys and the YouTube trolls and the Instagram ones as well. Instagram wild lads is crazy. Obviously, every sane person doesn't condone abuse of personal attacks, criticizing of race, religion, and things, criticizing of family members, and definitely not abuse of young family. It's crazy. And again, like he said here, Martial received some hostile comments. Against Palace, he had it as well. Xhaka is one of those players. He spoke about the comments from Patrice Evra in relation to Henry. He said there have been comments made by Evra, Henry, and they make them as ex-footballers, sometimes about the performance of a particular player, and they kind of invite that wave of social media criticism. Of course they do. You've got to be very wary, and YouTubers do that as well. We all know sometimes, as an Arsenal fan, sometimes, there's been players who are poor and players who I couldn't wait to come out of this football club. But generally, if you watch the game and you watched the just people speaking about them, you can only think agendas because they had nothing to do with the defeat. Sometimes they're not even playing. So I do think people with positions of influence or whatnot have something to say. And I do think club, people can, what people need to be very careful how they voice their opinion and what they say, especially on TV channels. But at the same time, you are a footballer. You're allowed to be criticized, and fundamentally, if you put in good performances, you won't be criticized. If Saka has a bad game, we ask questions. But why does everybody love him? Because he's a good footballer. It's as simple as that. As much as I like Xhaka, when somebody polarizes opinion for so many years and whatnot, what does it tell you? Like I said, I don't agree with all the abuse stuff and stuff like that. He said, I think some pundits might actually be provoking that criticism. It's something you never see in Switzerland or Germany. That just doesn't happen. It seems to be rather unique to the United Kingdom, maybe. He also said, in relation to the Palace game, it's going to stay with me. It's part of my history as a player. It was not pleasant and it's hard to describe. It's something I would never wish on any player. Nobody should have to experience that feeling. And it isn't nice. It isn't nice. It is what it is, people. And one does wonder, really and truly, how long before this sort of stuff resurfaces? We all know he took a big knock and was wounded, and apparently he discussed that he wanted to leave. You could see apparently there are only a few details to complete for me to make that move, but Arteta wanted him to stay, people. So it's down to you to just keep playing and things like that. I'm not going to read all of this stuff, but I do agree. Journalists and people with influence can be a bit smarter and don't need to always say or do certain things, but you play well, it's not being said. It's as simple as that, man. It's crazy. What have you said? Smack my Beeley Cup. Arsenal have the sixth highest transfer deficit in the Premier League over the last 10 years. Arsenal have a total deficit of, I'm not going to read the fun, poor recruitment at it again. Facts, man. Fully facts. Learn to run. Clayton, no clue what you're saying, but big up you, my guy. I don't know who stressed you out, but fair play. We all know, man, family abuse and personal abuse is not warranted, man. It's crazy. You think it's the climate issue that makes Partey injured easily? I don't know, man. I don't know. Because all I know is clearly there must be something that Atletico were doing. Maybe Partey's always had this injury issue, and there's been a way that they've gone around it, sort of thing. If not, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just one of them. It's just one of those Arsenal things, man. It's quite concerning. It's really quite concerning. But we just have to move, man. And like F1 has said, wins cover the bad behind the club. It's like how the sun shines through the cloud. Very philosophical way of looking at it. Gaming has said, I don't think we have a bad squad. I believe we have to find a way of making the team gel. The squad is there. I personally don't think the squad's there. I think there's a couple ingredients. I do think, I agree with you, we could make them gel. We can get a lot more out of this team and a lot more consistency and make a lot more of the top four. But I just feel we're going to hit a glass ceiling. I only really believe in 7 men in this squad, and 2 of them are a bit shaky. Like I like Leno, but I've spoken about earlier. I think Leno's a bit dodgy at times. Aubameyang's in that book of previous credit right now. He's not really there. Away from them two, if your name's not Thomas Partey, Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, Tierney, Gabriel, Martinelli, if I haven't said it, I don't really believe in you. I like Pepe. Smith Rowe, add him in there as well, but he's not of the same level as the previous names. I like Pepe be used, but there's too many players in that squad. I don't know what I'm getting game by game, and that's not healthy. And I genuinely feel the squad isn't good enough. Like, I don't believe in much of them. I don't think Xhaka's a bad footballer. I don't think he's good enough. Starting over a 38-game period, if you want to even win the Premier League or qualify higher up in the Premier League or get qualified via the Champions League, I don't think Xhaka is good enough. I don't think Hector Bellerin is good enough. I think David Luiz is punching within every game. I think, I like Holding, I like Marie. I don't know their true levels yet. And I'm not sure if neither are starting quality for a team with such. I think Tierney is. I think if we don't have Thomas Partey, we're in trouble, because even with Partey's injury, you could say there's too much question marks over our defense, a midfield, apologies. I like Lacazette, but he's hot and cold, and I find myself praising him on things that, I think he should do. Similar to Pepe, Lacazette's the best example for Pepe. Now, there's still question marks over Lacazette, but the reputation Lacazette was coming with is diminished. He's a squad player. He's a player that we think gets the best out of the team rather than the team gets the best out of him, and he's a match winner. I'm not discrediting him. He scores in big games. He does his thing, but we brought him to score goals. Everything else is a bonus. We kind of mentioned everything else other than goals. I know he's probably our top goal scorer at this time. And I'm not using that to criticize Lacazette. I'm just making a point. So I don't know, man. There's not too many players I genuinely believe in within that team. I'm not gonna sit here and cap to you, my guy. I'm really not. Sorry, I'm just writing a timestamp. Arsenal players are actually good enough. Like that. So yeah, that's what I believe, man. That's fully what I believe. Probably the plan with Nelson is to. I have small hope that Reece Nelson gets a look in between now and the end of the season. I'd rather give him minutes to Willian. You know, I think Nelson's in a bit of a double whammy in that you've got Saka playing well, you've got Pepe playing well. Martinelli deserves to be ahead of him, in my opinion. Aubameyang can be used out wide. Obviously, there's all these sort of things. And then you've got Willian, who is a favourite. So I think this season might just be a write-off for him, and he needs to either go on loan or leave permanently if something's going to happen, really. I hope he gets a look in because he can play on the left, on the right, and could do a job like Smith Rowe. Not as good as Smith Rowe, but in the 10 role, personally. Definitely better than exploring Willian there. I would ask Lacazette to play right wing if I was a manager. Nah, we're going to be way too narrow, man. Nah. Myth. Absolute myth. Fair play, though. I see what you're saying. I'm not on that, man. But we need them fit, man. Man said Creed mode. ah. Super chat. I didn't even see that. Big up the super chat people, them. 1 sec. Let's get into your super chat. Let me just run an ad on Twitch. You know, we got to try and get them bands in little by little. Big up yourself for the super chat. I appreciate you. Said anyone who's been to boarding school knows Saliba was just being one of the lads. Absolute legend. End of. Yeah, by now I think the video should be out on my opinions. Why is it 5 o'clock is out now, boy? If that's what you lot call being one of the lads, spooky, bro. I hear you, but nah, boy, that's not laddish to me. That's a bit spooky and them things there. But thanks for your super chat nonetheless. I'm not gonna spend any longer on that, man. And you're right, stylish. You have to call things as they are, man. To be honest, Rob, I can't speak for everyone. But unless people are punching up people every week, I don't mind, you know, player bust ups in training. I've played Sunday League. You probably have as well. How many of you have tore into your teammates? As long as guys are on some, I don't know any other way to put it, some masculine shit, word to pound sterling, you know, unless if they're on that, it's all fair in games. Like on the pitch, we tear each other up because we collectively want to be winners. After the game, shake each other's hands, keep it moving. It's only when people start harboring little feelings and getting in their feelings that it becomes a problem. Could you imagine the Invincibles or a Alex Ferguson team or Jose Mourinho couple of days at Chelsea? It must have been a nice environment to be at, but there must have been bust-ups all the time. There's always people fighting. Testosterone is high. Everyone's puffing out their chest. It should be an issue. My problem is I'm hearing all this thing about fight. Sometimes I'm watching us on a football field. I'm thinking, yo, where's the fight? You know, I'm sure you've all had friends in school and stuff like that. They'll hype up to you because you're their friend. But the minute there's a problem on the roads or there's a problem outside or they're meant to they're meant to talk nonsense to someone, they're being real humble. And that's the vibe I get. We're bad for our boys when for me, if anything, you should be bad for your friends and extra bad for people out there because they're trying to harm you in a footballing sense. So that's me, man. I am using this as a transitional season, but in the transitional season, big up the Twitch gang. What do you have to see? Transition in. I'm seeing hot and cold. For me, the minimum I want to see this season and the minimum that will make me say cool Arteta is if there's a consistent way of playing where, you know, we're not talking about creating in the final third and the rest of it. That's the only thing. Not getting top 4 is already an L because the opportunity's been there this season, especially you've got a second. That's the goal in August. And because of what you was doing in the first half of the season, you effed it up. At the halfway point, you got yourselves back into it and now you're effing it up. So you've had 2 chances. You've gone out of the FA Cup. So again, Champions League is the priority. That's what we've been out of. Europa League is I don't even want to say minimum, but minimum basically. And then if you don't get out of that, it's question marks. But the only thing that can save you is a way of playing for me, and I can't really see any of those things right now. Lucas said, "Would you sell Aubameyang in the summer?" I know probably not. You know, we've signed this deal, we've got to ride it now. You know, unless you're gonna get a significant amount of cash back, or unless the board of Kroenke is gonna say sell Aubameyang, we'll give you 100, anything from 70 to 100 for a top striker that's gonna immediately replace his goals historically. It's a myth, in my opinion. And, you know, players in this, I don't think there's not too many players I don't think are good. You know, I would name them, but there's only about 2 players I just don't think are levels. Other than that, you could all be out, bro. If that's one of the lads, that's one of the lads, people. But it is what it is, man. You know, shouting is needed sometimes, you know. You don't need to shout. If you shout too much, it's not going to get anywhere. And if you're too nice, it's not going to get anywhere, man. Can you see a way back for Saliba? Yeah, because again, he just needs to roll his socks up and football. Things can be said. I think he might be sold now, but I think he can. And the video leaking, it is what it is, innit? I don't want to keep going over it. It is coincidental, but I can see him being sold without giving a chance. I can see it being water under the bridge. Pepe was doing hella chatting in the French media, and he's done all right, man. So we'll have to see. Bro, trust me, Sean, I'm happy. I never went to no boarding school with that nonsense, man. It's a bit beaky, bro. Bro, hella pauses, man. I thought, listen, you don't know my pause monitors on a madness speed, people. Rewind that. I didn't miss that out. You lot give me, you lot kill me, man. You have to say Mings had a phenomenal game as well as Martinez. Hopefully, last match. I wouldn't say phenomenal. He was good though. Him and Koza. I said it in the review and stuff. Won everything in the air, but we didn't offer no threat, really. They can't account for that. But it is what it is. For me, it's just this consistency. There's no good doing it for 3 games and struggling the next 3. You're not going to get anywhere as a football club. It's as simple as that. Bro, Europa League, we need to go all out, because, there's not too many chances left. And that's true as well. Matt Ryan had a good game, and it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate for Matt Ryan that I feel he was shortchanged. He should have been able to keep a clean sheet. Denied the chance of winning his first game in an Arsenal colours. Matt Ryan, I couldn't ask anything for him, man. To be fair with you, Chesney, it seemed like that was the straw that broke the camel's back, sort of thing. Pause. It seemed like Wenger just had enough. And to be fair, everything worked out because Pirlo smokes. I'm sure Bonucci or Chiellini, one of them smokes. I'm sure a couple of them players at Juventus smoke. So it's all worked out for Chesney in that regards, really and truly. Hey, be easy. I don't know who would have loved boarding school with them things going on. That's you. You got to speak for yourself. Oh, my love, dog. I don't know about none of that, but I definitely not recording my friend's movie mind as well. I don't know about that damn thing there, like sitting next to man. Listen, the video should be out for my opinions, but I don't know about sitting next to man and therefore record. But my man get punched up for that. Like, speak for yourself. That not. Listen, if I'm going boarding school, I'm going just to start chatting with them Tories and them rich people and all of them sort of things. I'm definitely not going there to be on what Saliba was doing, people. I don't know what school you're on about, bro. And he can be one of your lads, my guy. That's cool, bro. Big up Saliba. Hopefully he can get over this thing. But you're on your ones with them ones there, my guy. Do you like Torreira? Yeah, I do like Torreira, but ironically, I wanted Torreira to come back. I didn't want him to leave, but the ones there, like it's not anything to do with the player's ability. It's just clearly, he's not with this. He's not, whether it's the country, the club, the manager, whatever. He's not with it. So forget it, innit? I'd rather bring back Guendouzi because his exit is because he can't shut his mouth, but he gets it, sort of thing. So we'll have to see. Ironically, I don't believe Maitland now. Maitland Niles, Guendouzi, Torreira, they'd all have spots in my team to some capacity, squad players or whatever. And you're right, man. He does need a better circle because whoever leaks Saliba's business is a problem. Please make sure you, like C says, you get the like buttons up, man. Oh, not my C back. I don't know. I was talking about something else, man. What else are you guys saying? Bro, I never got white athletes or I don't know, man. I don't know either, but all I could probably say is, maybe life got boring, innit? Like maybe it's just boring. I don't know. I don't have a foggy clue, man. I don't have a clue, but we'll have to see what happens, man. Let me just block this guy because you're being a neek. Anyways, people, moving on from that. How long we got? A couple more questions. Let's get a couple more in. I don't know why they smoke either, my guy. I swear Ronaldo does. I'm starting rumors. If he doesn't, but I'm sure he does. Wouldn't surprise me. Oh, he's in my FM team. I don't know now, It might have to keep it moving right now. I don't even know. I don't know who it is, man, but whoever did it's a leak, innit? Like whoever done it, whoever leaked it's moving mad. And even as a 7 6 under what he was 16, so he's an under 17s international. Like I would love to say it's youthful and naivety, but it's just moving mad. Raw, 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 raw. I was planning on speaking about this in the last vid, but you know, we might as well cover this really quickly, people. You know, Saliba apparently is under investigation for this stuff, people. Now, I tried, man. You know the ones there. You always try to stay away from these things, but it's just I've got a duty to speak about it. Why does it keep bringing that up, man? Are we playing? No, we're not playing today, my guy. But in relation to Saliba, people, Arsenal loanee William Saliba faces investigation by French FA over Snapchat video of naked teammate masturbating, which bosses consider harmful to the image of full brother. That's harmful to yourself, bro. Like, man, I just let me stop. But I just like I said on my on the video, for me, first and foremost, safeguarding is one. These lot are under 17, 16 years of age. You know, what's going on? Say what you know, you lot are not minors, but minors. What's well, minors basically. I don't know how it works in France, but minors, what's going on there? You know, where is the safeguarding? Where's the adults around? Second of all, the mental aspects around it, you know, are people all right? Because for me, what you know, one's recording Saliba recording you know, there's just bare man in the room anyways, and the Don's just got his finger out, his dingling out. It doesn't matter if a girl had her things out, a man's got his things out. You know, people are just the fact that there's multiple people here just letting him casually do that. It just looks mad. It's like cool, maybe he's just knocking one out. We do it here all the time, you know, or it's just we're on some weird stuff. And for me, it's a bit weird. Like a man's exposing himself, standing there, and man are laughing. Other people are airing it. You know, the whole situation is collapsed, people, regardless of how old he is. Yes, it was 3 years ago, but it's a mazzoline. Like it's just not making sense. Like it's crazy. It's scary. Like it genuinely scared me. You know, it's genuinely scary, people. Like I said, the fact that man are just sitting down next to it. You know, if someone was doing that on the train, if your boy just starts doing that on the train, or you're at your boy's crib and he's just doing that, you're gonna be like, yo, brother, go to the court, go upstairs and find a corner, or go to your yard and do what you need to do. It's mad weird. And Saliba's recording it. I don't know why he's recording, if he's recording on a banter thing, if like someone said that's what happens in boarding schools and stuff, you know. And like I said in my video, you know, I ain't definitely been involved in nothing like this, but I've played for football teams that haven't been in ends. And, you know, you've been anyone that's been on a football night out, you know, there's some bewildering stuff. I've seen some bewildering stuff at my boys' uni, seen some bewildering stuff with certain rugby teams, certain football teams. Some people are just different with it, innit? Like certain things that man say is banter, it's not banter to me. Like this ain't banter, but this might be banter. The only saving grace Saliba can have is that, you know, football, there's a long time in football. People are going to cry over something, correct? Cry over something tomorrow. The thing with Saliba where he's been shagged now is, you know, it's another thing where you're in the headlines for things that has irrelevance to do with football. You've been, it kind of, it does coincide with, you know, chatting off your mouth about how you want to play more under Arteta. So you've got bare chattings. You've now got this resurfacing. When you type in Saliba, you're not typing in on Google right now and seeing Saliba bossed it against this club, that club. Or do Arsenal bring him back from loan or whatever? You're seeing all of this stuff. So your headlines in this place for the wrong reasons. Obviously, people, he's got to think about what he's doing as well. It is harmful. Everything you do in the dark leads to light. Ironically, maybe if Donny did that in the dark somewhere alone, this wouldn't be in the light. Really and truly, it's mad. It's mad. Like, I just find it scary, people. Like I said, safeguarding and mental health are the two things I have in question, Carl. The way everybody's reacting is like it's normal. So is this the first time? And obviously safeguarding, because at the time, not that it's an excuse, he's 19. Apparently this surfaced when he was 16. What am I doing then? You know, it's crazy. And obviously you're seeing what's happening over social media and things like that. As you lot know, he's currently on loan. It shows the youngster smiling before panning the camera around to show a fellow player lying next to him who is undressed. And that's what was scary for me. Why is everybody just staring this thing, man? And apparently he's facing problems. He said now Saliba could find himself in hot water with the FFF, the French Football Federation, according to RMC, which claims an investigation is now underway. So again, is there sanctions for him at youth level for England? Man said England, for France, you know. You can imagine Arsenal and Arteta know about this, and nobody's going to speak of it. And I'd say he has to watch his friends around him, because you're doing funny business. You shouldn't be recording that. Donny shouldn't have his clothes on, and whoever leaked it shouldn't be leaking. So if you're going to do your funny business, do it with people that ain't going to say nothing. Because now, look, we're talking about this. I'm sitting there speaking about this, and it's quite uncomfortable for me. It's quite uncomfortable, bro. Like, I'm not going to lie. And the way in today's day and age with social media, don't get twisted. I could sit here and talk about a couple stories with a couple of footballers, really. Footballers do move mad. Not that I'm excusing it, but if you're gonna do your madness, do it somewhere else. And you're 60. The one saving grace is you take this with everything that's happened with Saliba in the last few months and whatever. And you're 19. You've gone through probably more in a couple of months than certain people go through in their careers. So just take this in your stride and learn from it. But you can imagine Arsenal know about this. You can imagine all his friends and family are messaging Donny about this. You can imagine I've been in football scenarios. There's probably a teammate bantering him off about this. I can bet you people. So yeah, people. This could cost him playing international football. I don't know if the French Federation, it will transpire into anything to do with what he's doing in the league. He was 16 at the time, and it was taken in count. I don't think he's going to get in trouble for that, but I'm gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see people. Like we already discussed, he spoke about this sort of stuff after, but it's just something. Why? Like it's. Bro, I'm just confused, man. I'm confused. I don't know why people are recording. I don't know why he's sitting there. In the video, it looks like there's multiple dons, and it's a thing where there's other people that are not even in shot. So are people doing this on a cash thing? Like, it's just him that's happened to be caught. There's a time and a place, man. There's a time and a place. And I think 2021 has shown that some guys just don't know when to deal with their business, people. Every day some male has their thing out and it's just moving mad. Like, it's mad. It's mad. Shout out to all the males that can keep their thing in their pants and only bring it out for women and whoever when it's a time and a place, because what else can you say other than that was very, 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 very mad. It is what it is, man. What have you said? The Saliba video is ridiculous, but why? Because he's William Saliba. Again, nobody knows the other footballers involved by face. He's the one that sells the story. And also, they all have to hold L's because there's all so many question marks. And bro, I'm not even going to spend any. It's just bookie, innit? Like, it's just mad bookie. Like, bro, I know footballers get up to a lot of F3, but it's come on, man. And obviously, it's happened while he's on international duty with France, So again, safeguarding. He's under 17. He's 16 years of age. I can't understand why that's doing that, man. Bro, Grealish, it has the right thing going on. I'd rather leaked images like Grealish than the mad thing was going on, really and truly. I don't know what I'll go for some, man. So many, bro. I don't even, the ones there, Derek. You don't even want to ask or hear. Just like, it's it, innit? I'm moving on now. We've spoken about that. We're out of it now, man. We're out of it. We're out of it, man. The next time I'll speak about Saliba, will be obviously for the loan report. Some of you lot's comments are killing me, man. Said he would definitely be 2 meters away from his shot. You lot are beaky, man. And it's just fundamentally, bro, it's just beaky, but it's beaky. And it's just such a shame it has to be with a man that's playing for Arsenal. Never, man. What's going on? It's just, what happened to the days of just securing a young babe station or something and doing your thing in your room alone? Like, what's going on? Anyways, let's move away from that, but bro, that's what scares me. It's just a man's casually doing it. Other men are just browsing their phone while my man's going, like, what's going on? Like, and why is he doing that? Where's your room? What's going on? Are you just knocking one out before your away game? What's going on? All right, let's stop, man. Let's stop. I'm gonna get out of it before it gets unprofessional. But some of these things are killing me. Some of you lot's comments are killing me. Our next game on Sunday against Leeds, my guy. It's only. Bro, I'd be stressed as well. Arguably, I don't know how Saliba's done it, but he's managed to come out of this worse than the Donny is doing the mad thing. Because not only is that Donny moving mad, you're moving mad and recording the works. Like, bro, you're just happy you're not somebody, It's Mazza. Some Mazzolini. Bro, what happened to the days? What happened to the days? What happened to the days of just keeping it true? You know, X videos and them things there, like just you born up and them things, they're just keeping it true. Why is it gone to this? Like, why is it? What's going on? Bro, like, is he sending pics to a girl in which he, like, what's going on? Like, bro, it must be mad, man. Bro, it's rattling, bro. Do you know how horny you have to be to do that, fam? Like, and I know at 16 the testosterone is different, but come on, man. Hey, bro, I think Saliba needs to work on his man marking. He's getting a bit too close to people in that regards. Maybe he needs to learn to mark the space still. But let me stop. Man said John Terry wants to know your location, myth. Man said just go after the sisters like DG, damn. I hope we don't lose against Leeds, my guy, but hope we not, man. We always lose when we play Gabriel. I'm not sure I agree with that, but fair play. You know, best. I'm getting out of here, man. I'm getting out of here. People, please make sure you hit the like button, did it? I'll be back tomorrow. Please make sure you're hitting the like button and things like that. I've enjoyed speaking with you lot. It's descended into a bit of chaos, but hella pauses are needed, like Stylish has said. But on that note, people, I'm out of here, man. I'm out of here. Please hit the like button. Please make sure you've hit the subscribe button. You know, please make sure you're supporting across Twitch and the rest of it. As usual, I'm always appreciative of the PayPal donations, of the YouTube memberships, and the rest of it, people. Information's all in the bio. So I'm out of here. Teeny FC, I don't know what sneaky questions you're asking me, but I'm just gonna get out of here, people. I'll be back tomorrow. DG.